All right, everyone. Kathy Griffin is pulling a Hillary Clinton. That is, she doesn't know when to shut up. She doesn't know when to quit while she's ahead. She's itching for round two of internet justice, internet vigilantism of a sort. And she's deciding to blame Trump and his family for her problems. Now, the actual cause of the disease of you having problems is your own stupid actions in thinking somehow you are going to escape all repercussions in a vacuum with nobody really willing to back you for holding up the fake severed head of the President of the United States and putting it online. That's the disease. The symptoms are you're losing a lot of money, nobody wants to be your friend, a bunch of venues have canceled you, and rightly so, and the internet decided to lash out at you because the internet is tired of bullshit. The internet, I think, at this point is tired of vapid celebrities who cry crocodile tears when they get in trouble, while meanwhile those same corporate firms like CNN that was working with Kathy Griffin and finally disavowed her are going after independent content creators and things like that. People are fucking tired of that shit. They're tired of being bullied around by a bunch of idiot celebrities who say, oh, if you disagree with me, you're immoral on issue X, Y, and Z. Oh, this is proper performance art, but we need to censor those video games. We need to censor independent music. We need to censor people hosting like YouTube videos or making tweets. That's what people are tired about right now. The internet's ready to snap and go after all of you and bring all of Hollywood crumbling down with it, along with everyone associated with the corporate media. Good. Now, they deserve to lose all their money. They deserve to be out on the streets, Kathy Griffin included. For her to blame Trump, whose own belated response was relatively measured compared to what people on the internet were launching against her, is funny. It's very amusing, but it's downright wrong. There is no truth to it whatsoever. She can come out and cry her crocodile tears. Oh, Trump broke me. Trump is bullying me. Trump's not bullying you. The internet's cyberbullying you. There's a big difference between those two. People just happen to have an appreciation for thinking that it's really, really, really funny to screw with you because you made a shitty decision. Now, Scott Adams has spoken about the democratization of culture as a result of social media. I largely concur. And this can be a good or a bad thing. It can be very good in dealing with celebrities, the corporate media, politicians, people like that. For that, it's really, really good. For independent content creators and, average Joe individuals who just went viral one time a year ago or something, it can be pretty bad because they can end up with their livelihood undercut without actually being controlled by a corporation. They're not working for a corporate multinational news network. They're not a politician or really a public figure or something like that. No, they just happen to be popular online. I think we need two separate sets of standards for two entirely different classes of people. As far as Kathy Griffin, she wants to hold herself up on a pedestal as some sort of performance art symbol of social reform or political ideology. Well, then you're going to get blowback for that. Especially when this is your method behind the so-called performance art, the so-called comedy. Mainstream comedy is no funnier than mainstream news is informative. It's a pile of bullcrap, most of it. It's either really, really dumbed down and PC, or it's just overtly political and nothing else, and it gets, it can be funny at first, but it gets old after a while. We see this on SNL, we see this everywhere else. That includes, by the way, people like maybe Dennis Miller. People who supposedly have leaned to the right, they stop being funny after a while because they're delivering the same friggin' jokes in different forms about different people, the same retarded monologue over and over. Kathy Griffin posts on the internet a picture of her, sort of mock beheading Donald Trump. She doesn't think that some tens of millions of Americans are going to get upset enough to target the advertisers working with her. CNN for working with her, having her aboard for various bullcrap, as part of their corporate news endeavors. That they're not going to target the venues where she's going to be going on and doing her so-called comedy show or something. How is that Donald Trump's fault? None of these people were instructed by Donald Trump to do this. And I wasn't instructed by Trump or his advisors or any of his friends to make a video about how stupid your actions were. It's because I think your actions are stupid. In a vacuum, in a very grassroots, democratized manner, I find that stupid. I would have done the same if somebody on the left had done, somebody on the right had done this to some left-wing politician. It would have been the same thing. It would have been maybe mildly amusing to a small group of people, but it would have been so dumb, it would have lacked all tact. Yeah, from a strategic standpoint, it's about the worst thing you could have possibly done for your career. And you want to blame Trump, who didn't even respond until the day after. And then you have the Barron Trump Melania stuff. That Trump trots out his family into the fray in order to deflect any possible defense you could possibly have. And you actually fall for that too. Now you're attacking not just Trump, but the whole Trump clan. It's not going to go well for you. That, again, is probably the worst thing you could have done. The best thing you could have done is shut up and sit there and take some time off, deal with the fallout, wait for it to go away, and then very quietly reinsert yourself back in. Instead, you want to be front page news all over again to mop up a handful of supporters from the far left that thinks Trump is Hitler, and so anything that is possibly even construed as against Trump in some way is perfectly fine. Meanwhile, you're like cracking jokes about his family, harassing his son, who's not even an adult yet, and you expect there to be no repercussions. You haven't even begun to feel the repercussions on your career. Since you so stupidly decided to bring up the issue again, there will be a totally new wave of people who will target you, who will target any advertisers working with you, any venues that want your comedy tour, whatever the hell you would term it. That's just, I don't even have to care about the issue. That's just what's going to happen. It's going to occur. The internet's not too kindly to people who are like, they're hyper rich. They class themselves as celebrities. They go on CNN or something. That's not the class of people the internet tends to side with. Including a lot of people on the left, all the progressives. And I'm going to defend you. You think you're going to get a bunch of Bernie Sanders fans coming aboard? Oh yeah, it was just satire. It's perfectly fine. And it was fucking hilarious. Nobody found it funny. Even the leftist media disowned you after this. And you want to do it again? Can you say dumb? Yeah, well, I'm not too surprised. It seems like if you look back through her tweets and you look at some of the stuff she's done over time, like the comedy, it's about as lowbrow as you can possibly make it. Now overtly politicized, but still just as lowbrow as before. And then you've got a handful of people who'll defend her, saying, oh, all these snowflakes that are triggered. You don't have to be offended to understand the reality that it's going to offend others, and that in turn will generate 10 times as many people who go after her just for a laugh. What they find funny is to destroy her career. They don't really care about the politics of the situation. It's the way the internet's worked for some time. What part of that don't these people get? The Republicans have suffered from this too. Some Republican does something that's kind of dubious, but altogether, all things considered, kind of mundane. They get crucified for it. They did years and years ago. The RNC got crucified, like when it ignored Ron Paul. It wasn't going that far beyond standard procedure, but it was perceived as so dishonest, they got raked over the coals for months for it. Good. That's the internet's great. Now, I'm so glad that I'm so glad it isn't like, some people get nostalgia for, as a little kid, things were better. No, fuck, the things in the 90s were shit compared to now with social media. I love this crap. It's great. Don't you love watching these people crash and burn? They're like multi-millionaires. They work for the corporate media. They do corporate comedy or something like that. They're partnered with CNN. And they completely lay waste to their own careers. It's like, I don't understand how anybody can be so dumb as to not understand the repercussions on the internet of such things. Especially when they still don't. After they face the first round of repercussions, they re-inject themselves back into it. Like they want to get beaten around the head by millions of people on the internet all over again. How dumb can you be? You think this is going to get other venues to want you there when they know that a bunch of people might show up to protest you and trash the venue? They're not going to deal with it unless you're going to pay them to put on your little comedy show. They're not being paid enough to care about you being bullied by the Trump family, supposedly. It's not Trump bullying you. It's the internet exacting justice in the way that it sees fit. You don't have to like it. It's just the way that things work. That's about all. Peace out.